Hi, I'm Jessica Levant. Welcome to my studio. Welcome to my living room. For over 10 years, I've been a photo artist, so my studio has consisted of my laptop and a converted powder room where my printer and papers and inks are. In April, I took advantage of sheltering in place and I expanded my art practice as well as my workspace. I'd always wanted to do mixed media. I did some research. I looked at lots and lots of collages online, and then I dove in. Since mid-April, I've done over 3 dozen pieces. I love the texture, getting my hands involved, and the freedom to start with an idea and let it evolve with my brain partnering with the materials so that I end up with lots of surprises along the way, usually good ones. I basically do two kinds of work: the rather free abstract with splashes and scrapes and swirls of paint, paper with torn edges, and unlimited materials. And then I find I need a respite from that, and I need more control, and I do some very precisely cut geometric shapes that I predetermine. So for example, I've done a quilt series, you can see behind me, I think. Each piece is made up of 24 3-inch squares. I've also done my square dances series, and again, each piece is made up of one large rectangle and lots of smaller squares with different color combinations and angles. Since my workspace and storage space is limited, I'm not doing anything larger than what will fit in a 24 by 18-inch frame. And I should just let you know that everything I do is sealed with a UV and moisture resistant clear coat.
So here's where I work. It starts with my rolling cart full of different kinds of paper and cuttings and print and brushes and pens and pencils on top. And then we have what used to be my dining table with layers of plastic and wax paper on it. And this is where all the fun happens. I start with a piece of watercolor paper and then I glue tissue paper on it, and pretty much everything starts with that kind of base so that I get a textured substrate to work on. As you can see, my workspace is also my kitchen, and it's also my gym. There's my stretchy things. But before we go back in the living room, I'll give you a brief tour of some of the photo art I have hanging in my own space, which is why I have no room for mixed media hanging on my walls. This is my lady from Cuba with a lot of reflection on her, and my tattooed lady with even more reflection on her. She's a mannequin, of course, and another mannequin. I rather like mannequins. And one of my few botanicals, and a couple of solitary men, and the Bay Bridge, which I turned into a global warming piece. And one of my favorite tiny ones is my corkscrew characters. And then, there's just more and more and more, and there's no one style, but there are a lot of whimsical things, and there is music. I'm also a jazz lover, so I did a series called Chameleon Jazz, and these are 2 miniatures of those. The bulk of the series is hanging in a cafe right now that's been closed for indoor dining since March. These are from Cuba. A couple of whimsical pieces with lots of reflection on them, but they're all on my website. Okay, back to mixed media. So the first series I'm going to point out is my Trader Joe's series. It's on top here. And if you remember, in April, we couldn't bring grocery bags of our own into the shop, so we ended up with lots of grocery bags, and these 3 pieces are made out of them. I only framed the first one because of the reflections. I decided to keep the other 2 naked, or to make them naked. They had been covered. So those are my Trader Joe's series. These are some abstracts that I did frame. And then we're back to my sofa, where I have removed the cellophane bags from all of these so I can pull them out as needed. These 2 are part of a series I did early on, where I took one piece of my photo art and based a collage around it, and there are 3 birds and 2 flowers, as I recall. And then some abstracts, different things. The last one I did was inspired by the fires. So it's got fiery colors and shapes and words, and it also has expired flowers from my balcony on it. And finally, a peek at an example of the 2 geometric series I did. This one is part of my quilt series. The first 3 were color-based, and they're currently hanging at the Live Worms Gallery. This one is subject-based, and it's about wealth, and it's called 20th Century High Life. It's hanging on my wall, despite what I said, because I think I might keep that one. I'm not sure. And this is a 6-part series. At the moment, I might make more, called Square Dances. So they're same idea, but different colors, different angles. I think you get the idea. So I think that's good enough for the tour. Thank you for spending the time with me. I'm going to leave you with some links, and I hope you'll have time to take a look at a little bit more and at your leisure. And also hope to see you in my booth where we could actually have a 2-way conversation.